Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're diving into, well, a pretty interesting idea, maybe even a bit contradictory.
Hmm.
It's this thought that constraints, the things we usually hate, like tight deadlines, budget cuts, fewer resources, might actually be the secret sauce for really original creative work.
Yeah, it goes against that romantic idea, doesn't it? The artist needing like total freedom, endless blue
And that's
sky.
the image we have.
But the sources we looked at, they kind of paint a different picture. We've got Anthony J. James's piece from LinkedIn, Creativity Under Pressure, Why Constraints Make the Best Work.
Right.
And also a really practical article from Adobe Creative Cloud, How to Stay Creative Under Pressure.
And they offer slightly different angles, but they both circle back to this fascinating idea, limitations sparking something new.
Exactly.
So our mission here, for you listening, is to sort of unpack this paradox. How can those pressures, those budget slashes, even those really awkward client requests, how can they actually push us towards better, more inventive stuff?
And maybe pull out some, practical ways to handle it, not just cope, but maybe even use it.
Use the pressure.
Ugh.
Okay, let's get into it. So James kicks off his article with a pretty bold claim. He says, the most original thinking I've ever seen came from tension, pressure, and constraint.
Wow. Yeah, that directly challenges the whole free spirit creative thing.
Right.
We imagine creativity needs this huge open space, right, to explore everything. But James is saying, no, it's the friction, the limitations that actually force us to be really inventive.
He gives examples, too.
Oh, yeah, really relatable ones, I think. Like teams pulling off amazing work with basically no sleep in 48 hours.
In there.
Or making something great with half the budget they thought they had. Or, having to completely change direction because the client had a last-minute thought.
Uh-huh. Many of us know that feeling.
Definitely. If you've worked in creative fields, those high-pressure moments probably sound familiar.
So why does he think this pressure cooker works? What's his reasoning?
Well, he argues it forces this, intense clarity. It just cuts through all the noise, all the overthinking that can really slow things down.
Yeah.
And it kind of dilutes your ego, too, he says. You don't have time to fall in love with every single little idea.
Right, you can't be precious.
Exactly. And you can't hide behind some elaborate process either. You just have to deliver fast. So you focus only on what's essential and you make decisions quickly.
He had that analogy, constraints as the engine.
Yeah, the engine of creativity, not the enemy. It's a powerful reframe, I think. Instead of dreading those limits, deadlines, budgets, time pressure, those interesting client demands,
Yes, the interesting ones.
you see them as fuel, as catalysts, actually.
It really does make you stop and think. I mean, personally, looking back, some projects I'm proudest of, definitely born under pretty intense pressure.
Yeah.
Have you found that too, that feeling where the pressure helps you just laser focus and maybe come up with something unexpected?
Oh, absolutely. You're backed into a corner and suddenly your brain just finds these weird creative pathways you wouldn't have normally gone down. It's interesting. But, James is careful to make a distinction here.
Yes. The good pressure versus bad pressure thing. It's not about just creating chaos.
Oh, exactly. That's crucial. The wrong kind of pressure like fear or no support from your team or boss or just constant interruptions,
No. Yes.
that kills creativity. Dead. Your brain just shuts down creatively when it feels threatened.
Right. Survival mode, not creative mode.
Precisely. But the right kind of pressure, the kind he's talking about, that means having clear goals, knowing the boundaries, having sharp but realistic timelines that can actually unlock flow.
Flow, yeah. That zone where things just click.
Exactly, that focused state where the good ideas seem to just happen.
He also used that image of resistance creating an edge. Like you need something to push against.
Yeah, like a river carving through rock, you said earlier. The resistance shapes the path, makes it more defined, more powerful maybe.
That really connects to his point about timelines, doesn't it? The whole 6 months, 6 weeks, 6 days thing.
Oh yeah, that's fascinating. He observes, give a team 6 months, you might get good work. Fair enough.
Okay.
Cut it to 6 weeks, probably going to be great work, more focused, more decisive.
Right.
But then the really interesting bit, give them just 6 days. But, and this is key, in a super focused environment with the permission to just solve the problem. And you might actually get a breakthrough idea, something truly original.
6 days for a breakthrough. Wow. That really highlights the power of focused intensity. But like you said, the conditions matter.
Absolutely. It's not just speed for speed's sake. It's about that tight container, that clear mission, solve it.
Which leads nicely into his advice for when you hit those inevitable roadblocks, right? Instead of just asking for more time or money.
Yeah, he suggests flipping it. Ask constraint-driven questions instead. Force the issue.
Like, okay, team, what if we had to launch this in 72 hours? What would we do?
Or, what if we could only afford one core concept? Which one is it?
What if this is our only chance?
Exactly. Questions that force action, force choices, instead of getting stuck in, endless deliberation.
And that practical side, the how-to, that's really where the Adobe article comes in handy.
Yeah.
Providing concrete strategies for working within those pressures.
Definitely. And the first point they make is huge, especially if you tend towards perfectionism. Simple isn't automatically bad.
Yes. Letting go of needing every single thing to be a portfolio masterpiece. They talk about that shift, maybe from freelancing where you polish one thing, to a full-time role with tons of projects.
High volume, yeah.
The key becomes functionality. Does it do the job it needs to do? If yes, then okay, it's good enough, move on.
And that makes such a good point. Even the top designers, the ones we admire, probably have work samples that are, well, a bit boring or just functional.
True.
It's about taking your ego out of it sometimes. Focus on the goal. Does it work? Does it communicate? Great. Success. Even if it's not the most thrilling design ever.
Another really useful tip from Adobe was about reframing feedback.
Oh yeah, that's smart. Instead of just reacting to the surface comment.
Like make the font bigger.
Right. Try to figure out the underlying problem. Why are they saying that? Maybe bigger font really means I'm having trouble reading this easily.
So it opens up other solutions.
Exactly. Maybe it's not the size, maybe it's the font choice itself or the contrast or the spacing. If you understand the real issue, legibility, in this case, you have more creative freedom to fix it rather than just blindly following the suggestion.
That makes a lot of sense. Gives you more agency.
Definitely. And then there's the very practical advice about, well, choosing your battles.
Strategic effort allocation. Sounds fancy, but it's basically deciding where to put your energy when you're juggling a lot.
Yeah, you can't pour 100% into every single task every single day.
Yeah.
You'll burn out. So you prioritize, put more effort into the projects where it counts the most.
It's about sustainability, really. Maintaining quality where it matters without killing yourself.
Which also connects to their point about reusability. Using templates, creating systems.
Which sometimes feels, well, maybe a bit lazy. Or less creative.
Right, there's that stigma. But Adobe frames it as working smarter. It saves time, ensures brand consistency, and actually frees up your brainpower.
Frees it up for the parts that do need unique creative thinking, because you're not rebuilding the basics every single time.
Exactly. And they also bring it back to James's main point. Constraints can spark new ideas when one path is blocked.
You have to find another way around.
Yeah. You're forced to explore avenues you might have ignored if you had unlimited options. It pushes you into unexpected territory.
They had a few other quick...
And then Adobe comes in with the practical toolkit, the how. How do you actually function day to day within those limits and still do good work?
It's not just about suffering through the pressure.
No. It's about understanding it, channeling it, using it to sharpen your focus, and maybe produce something even better.
So the big takeaway here seems to be constraints. Maybe not the enemy, after all. Maybe they're actually a hidden advantage, forcing clarity, focus, resourcefulness.
Leading to better, more innovative outcomes. It's a powerful shift in perspective.
So here's something for you to think about. The next time you're facing a constraint, tight deadline, small budget, weird brief, whatever it is.
Try not to just see the roadblock.
Yeah, try seeing it as maybe an opportunity, a trigger to find a solution you wouldn't have thought of otherwise in a totally free environment.
You could even try imposing constraints on yourself, artificially.
Ooh, like what?
Like give yourself way less time than you actually have for a task.
Yeah.
Or limit your tool set. Or force yourself to use only one color, I don't know. Create your own type box.
And see what happens. See what unexpected ideas pop out.
Exactly. It's an experiment. So think about the pressures in your own world, your own work. Can you reframe them? Can you see them not just as limits, but maybe as the starting point for something really interesting?
Something to definitely mull over. That's our food for thought as we wrap up this deep dive.